Hi, and welcome to Meditation on Monday. Where possible, every Monday, I'm going to join you and discuss the subject of meditation. For those of you that don't know me, I've been meditating now for 5 years on and off, and 4 years. Well, I started 5 years ago, and like you start everything, it was patchy, did a bit here, did a bit there. And then about 4 years ago, I really decided to be intentional with the meditation practice and to meditate once a day. And I did that for about a year. And a year into that, I decided I'm going to do it twice a day. And honestly, guys, it has been the best thing I have ever done. The benefits are just, they're enormous, they're huge. And yes, some of you might say, how do you know that all these things that you're saying are as a result of meditation are as a result of meditation? Yeah, maybe they're not, but I know there's a lot of research out there that actually backs this up. And certainly in my life, I have begun to experience many of the things that the research is now proving. And with all the neurophysiological advancements, we can actually now, or the scientists now, can map the brain, and they can see what's actually happening inside your brain while you're doing certain things. So they put people under stressful situations and see what's happening in their brains, which part of their brains is lighting up at specific times. And they do this for people who are meditating. So it's not all for the woo-woos, guys. It really is beneficial to everyone. And if you're a mum listening, which many of you are, this Meditation on Monday is an acronym for MOM. It's brought me so much in my life as a mum, but more than that, it's actually brought my kids a better version of myself. And I think that's really important. So what is the main thing that it's done for me? It's brought my awareness to my mind. It has enhanced my awareness of when I am going to be potentially reactive. I notice my reactivity bubbling inside of me before I react. Not every time. I'm human, I'm a mum. Of course I react sometimes. I have 3 teenagers, how can I not? But more often than not, I notice when I'm becoming reactive. And if I can take a pause at that moment, then it can prevent me from going down the low road, saying something I don't mean in reality. Now, you might be thinking, how has this anything to do with meditation? My meditation practice helps me be aware of my thoughts. So in a meditation practice, when my eyes are closed and I go into a stillness and a silent place, it's not totally silent. I mean, the birds will still tweet and the fridge will still buzz, but I'm giving myself this space to witness the sounds as just being sounds and to witness the stillness that I find within. And when I do that, I notice that my mind runs. Our minds are supposed to think. They are thinkers extraordinaire, and they think things that we don't even know they're thinking about. 55 to 70,000 thoughts a day. So we're not aware of half of our thoughts. But for much of the time, we're lost in thoughts. How many times have you driven somewhere and got to your destination and have no recollection of the journey? It's frightening, it's scary, but it happens. And it's happening because we're hijacked by thought. We're lost in thought. So meditation is a practice that expands my awareness for the thoughts. So in a meditation practice, I'm not saying stop the thoughts are wrong, don't think. I'm simply allowing myself to notice the thought and come back to stillness. I use my breath. There's various techniques that you can use to get yourself back into this place of stillness and off the thought train. But the thoughts will be there. The problem is we take our thinking really seriously, and then we believe our thoughts as if they're true. And our thoughts are not real. They're constructed. They're future-based or past-based, and they're not real. But our thoughts create our feelings, and our feelings create our actions. So you can see that by just thinking about something can end up causing you to act in a certain way. And we're acting in a way based on a thought that isn't real. It isn't true. And when you understand that thoughts are just like little clouds, little kind of puffs that we attach to them. So if we can just let our brain just puff them out, another thought, trying to control them doesn't serve us any purpose, because if we control them, we believe them. And if we believe them, we're believing something that's false. And then we live the falseness. Then we're living in the reality of the thought we've created. And then it does become real when it transfers into actions. So my meditation practice helps me be aware of my mind, be aware of my thoughts. Where are the thoughts? What are the thoughts? And what you'll notice when you start to meditate is that you have patterns of thoughts, that when you do go to a place of stillness and you can watch them, they're fascinating. They're really interesting to work out what is it that you default to. I default to planning. When my mind runs, I find 90% of the time I'm planning. And I know my fear that I used to have, and I've worked through it, is I wouldn't have enough time. So the planning relates to that. If I'm planning, I'm trying to make sure I can get it all done in a certain amount of time, because I was worried that I would run out of time. How silly is that? Time doesn't run out. It's infinite. It keeps going. So the thoughts I have were not true, because of course I have enough time. If I plan and I'm organized, I'll have enough time. But my thoughts would always go to that. So it's interesting how you can start to see the patterns in your thoughts. And then it can help you take action in your reality, not based on what you were thinking. So a beautiful quote I wrote today, which is on my Facebook page, that was inspired by Dr. Shefali Sabari, is that meditation helps me cultivate a mental garden with little space for weeds. And by weeds, I mean the thoughts that are superfluous to the moment. We can be thinking nice things about the moment when we're in the moment. There's probably a delay. I don't know, scientists would argue there's probably a delay between the thought and what's happening in the moment, because the moment's changing every millisecond. But I love that quote, because it really does help me cultivate a garden in my mind that is free for everything to grow, and that there's not as much space for the weeds. So all the other things can grow as well. So I think I'll keep that short and sweet, and just a little bit on meditation and why I do it. And next Monday, I will sit with you and go through a meditation that I do, and I will talk you through it. I've done a few in the past, but I know that it's always valuable to you, and many of you reach out to me and ask me, but how do I do it? What do I do when I think? What do I do when I'm not thinking? How do I stay on my breath? A minute seems like a year. So all these questions I will answer next week on Mind Meditation on Monday. Bye for now.